Hello, this is Ace, and after a rather long period of silence, I finally have some news regarding Make a Good Mega Man Level 3. It's been a while, eh? Well, for my own part, I have but one thing to say.
Done.
Oh, that was needlessly cryptic. No, I am in fact done with the judging process. All 176 final entries done. Yes, it's actually good news for once. For fairly obvious reasons, the project kind of fell into development hell and we're trying to drag it back out. And to me, this looked like an impossible feat, physically and literally. Because if you paid any attention to the channel, or Twitter, or just in general, you'll probably be aware not too long ago I could barely hold a controller and spent a good while still reeling from wrist surgery that didn't seem to work. Yeah, I wasn't having any of that though, and have spent the last good chunk of time trying to find a way forward in various projects. And for Magmore 3, our initial idea was for my friend, Nat, or Lyanna if you're in the Magmore 3 server, to play for me as a sort of a proxy. And the process was basically I sat next to him, he played, I made notes, we discussed things as we played, but the final judgment was my own. And it worked, for the most part. It was a slow process, and it was slow progress. But it was nevertheless progress. And then the current world crisis hit, and suddenly that slow progress became no progress. Again, for obvious reasons. And despite testing it, this just wasn't feasible for one reason or another over voice and webcam. Still, I wasn't having any of that. So, past couple of years, I spent my time trying to rebuild some degree of wrist strength. And while I haven't managed to do much in the way of recording, you may have been aware of a couple of Let's Plays from last year. Well, since then, my left wrist is no longer chronically weak and fatigued, so that's a bit of improvement there. And my right, while still fairly weak, and it is improving. Ultimately, this condition I have is chronic. Surgery will not fix it, and strengthening will not fix it. I just have to find ways to deal with it. Well, to that end, software and hardware help. And as far as, say, playing Mega Man, accessibility options. They've managed to let me play the games for much longer than would be normally possible. I have, in my own time, played through the entire series again, more or less, which helped me establish a baseline for Magmore 3. I knew what I wanted to see from stages going forward. And to that end, these options have also been added to Prince of Revenge 2, Revolution Remix, and obviously Magmore 3, but also a bunch of other Tham games coming out, or at least the ones that take the time to ask me and what they could do to help people in my situation. Accessibility is important. It has enabled me to play through what is, no hyperbole, my favourite game series of all time. You know, it's up there with Sonic and Metroid. It's probably the franchise I have the most attachment to. And without that, this would have been impossible. This progress means a great deal more to me than it probably means to quite a lot of you out there, but it is a positive step. I can't stress this task looked impossible, and it's done. It's also one more thing off the checklist, and I'm glad because, as it turns out, writing comments for so many Mega Man stages is a bit taxing on the old creative process, but it's done. Now, I'm not going to say Magmore 3 doesn't have some rather iffy entries in it. It is a contest where literally anyone could submit, and we cast a wider net this time, given the sheer increase in volume. But I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed playing through most of the levels. Turns out I just enjoyed playing Mega Man. Who'da thunk it? And the extremes are much more extreme this time. In both ways, let's just say the best of the best in Magmore 2 absolutely pales in comparison to the best of Magmore 3, or even the second best, or third best, or 10th best, or yeah, you get the idea. There's some good stuff, let's just say. So that is one thing to really look forward to with that. I think people have done a really good job. I've had a lot of fun. There is obviously not going to be an ETA on Magmore 3, I'll Obviously, there's going to be a lot more work ahead of us, and judging is still ongoing for some of us. But Make a Good 48-hour Mega Man level should be releasing in the next few days. That promises to be an interesting project. I haven't been involved very much outside of submitting an entry myself, and a few odds and sods here and there. And keep in mind that 48-hour part, just to set your expectations for the entries, and they probably won't blow your socks off, but from what I've seen elsewhere about the project, does seem pretty cool. They seem to have added a lot of cool features to it. So yes, this is one more thing off the checklist. Finally, I'm just going to make a brief mention regarding some other projects I've been working on, Prince of Revenge 2 and Revo Remix. They're fine, they're going on, they're carrying on. QR2 is a bit on the back burner, things take priority. But they are progressing, and Revo Remix is progressing at a fairly good clip still. Just because I don't make daily updates here or Twitter and whatnot doesn't mean things have stopped. Like, I really do appreciate the excitement people have over these games. It is quite nice to see people are excited for these, but just bear in mind, I'm working on both, Mike's working on both, and neither me or Mike have particularly good states of health, shall we say, so we take it at the pace we take it. It's a slow progress, and game development takes a lot longer than I think nearly anyone thinks it does. Anyway, I hope you take this news as the good news it is, because it is good news. It's a positive step. And this is Ace, and I will hopefully catch you later. Ciao.